Welcome everyone to Blue Collar Startup. I am your co-host, Mike Nelson, here with founder, visionary of Blue Collar Startup, Derek Foster. Derek, what's shaking?
Hey, Mike, how are you? It's a little
good.
different today. We got a different setup, but I like it.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll be interested to see how the audio quality comes out. That's always my biggest concern on the Zoom. But if you're listening, we are joined today by someone out of the area. And so it seemed, rather than making Tom, how many hours is it for you to get up here? 3-4 hours?
2.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
That's, we're a great podcast, but I don't know if we're worth a 4.5 hour drive yet. So we're on Zoom today. If you're listening and there's any audio quality discrepancies from what we normally have, we apologize, but hopefully it'll come off smashingly well. Tom, I want to have you introduce yourself, but I kind of feel like we should probably, before we introduce you, we should back up a little bit and just take 45 seconds to talk about how we even got here. Because I think any listener listening should understand the path that Derek has been on that's arrived to the point where we're on this podcast, and Tom, you're with us. So real quick, if it's okay, guys, I'm just going to give a quick timeline on this. And Derek, I'll ask your help a little bit. Derek, when did you launch Daigle Cleaning Systems?
So we started the Albany location, the first location back in 2011. So
2011.
We just had our 10-year anniversary last year, and we're doing some different things now, and looking to grow geographically, and we ventured into the world of franchising the business model to help others jump into the industry, which can be very rewarding. Show them how we do it and give them guidance, support along the way, and help them grow their business.
Yeah, and I think that's the important backstory for us to fill in real quick. If you're a new listener, or if you haven't listened to episode 2 where we talked to Derek about his story a little bit, Derek launched Daigle Cleaning Systems 2011. I think you and I met in 2012.
It was probably 12 or 13. It was shortly after we started up.
Yeah. And even at that time, you had already been killing it. I think when I met you, you had 30 or 40 employees already.
Something like that, yeah.
We started working together a little bit, doing some structure stuff. And then you very quickly, and I always say this about you, like you were just a machine of just getting work done, getting processes in place, doing all the work, so that literally we would meet on a Friday and we'd leave, and on Monday you'd be like, all right, here's what I did over the weekend, kind of deal. So I always was just like, man, this kid is a machine. But so in the 10 years that you've been open, you grew from basically just you in a side hustle to 100. How many employees do you have now?
So locally here in Albany, we have over 120.
Yeah.
And we have an entire organization, Tom and his staff, and we have another local franchisee here in the Albany market. She has an entire staff as well. So all in, we're probably somewhere around 150 or so.
Yeah, and that's, for anyone listening, if you're an aspiring blue collar business owner, whether you're in a side hustle or any place along the path of growing a business. Derek, I think you're a testimony to, what people want to do. You want to go from a side hustle to a place where you have, dozens of employees or hundreds of employees. And then now for you, and what led us to this podcast and Tom joining us, is that a few years back, you decided to franchise, that was going to be the best growth model for you. And you did the work and spent the money and did all the legal and all the stuff. And now you're a franchise owner. And now that's Daigle Operating Systems, right?
So that's a new project we're working on.
Oh, that's a new project.
That's a foreshadow. And it's good, because I was going to unveil that, with Tom anyway. But no, so DCS Franchising is our franchising entity. And, that's the entity that helps grow, sell, because it's a completely different business. When you get into, managing people, dealing with the clients, dealing with work. It's a completely separate business than coaching, developing, growing, and helping others to do that. You know, comes with its own sets of, you know, challenges and opportunities. And, you know, we're embracing it. I'm still learning every day. You know, it's one of those, I think, things that if you're not challenging yourself and getting outside of your comfort zone, you're not growing. And I know you know that all too well. And you know that this was our next step and next challenge. You know, and we have some more that are coming down the line here in the future. But you know, perfecting the model as we go. You know, and we're always looking for feedback from the people that are working with us and that are around us, our franchisees, ways to do things better. You know, and empowering people to throw their ideas in the ring and be heard. There's a lot of very intelligent people who have a lot of creativity and a lot of things to offer, and we'd be crazy not to listen to. So it really just opens us up, you know, to work with a lot of different individuals with different skill sets. You know, and help them where they're weak, and you know, help them to, you know, get stronger where they're strong.
Yeah. And so that's what kind of, you know, segues into to Tom joining us today. So, you know, to introduce our guest, and thanks for your patience, Tom. So Tom, go ahead, you know, tell us who you are. And, you know, as we, you know, obviously we know that you're a franchise owner now of Daigle Cleaning Systems and our DCS franchises. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing, but also, you know, why you know, kind of landed on a DCS franchise.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Tom. Nice to meet everyone. But yeah, the reason is I signed up with Derek about 2 years ago, I think, almost 2 years exactly.
Yeah, it's been a whole 2 years already.
Yeah. As a franchise, I actually originally was in the hospitality business, still am, director of operations for a restaurant group out of the city. But during COVID, you know, we had like a problem getting cleaners, and, you know, COVID disinfectant became pretty popular. So, you know, I was looking for different businesses to kind of start. I've been pretty entrepreneurial like most of my life. I think I had like a landscaping company when I was like in high school. Started researching commercial cleaning companies, looked up at different franchises, like reached out to a lot of them. Decided to go with Daigle just because Derek was local. I was want to be like the first franchise to sign on, so I just like had a more hands-on experience. The other companies I think were like very restrictive on what like projects you go after. I had a little bit more free reign of going off of residential and commercial. And, you know, I was able to go up to Albany for a few days to train. Also was able to train with Zoom meetings with Derek or over the phone, which made it convenient because I was still working my my day job. So like didn't affect that. And yeah, it's been a really good 2 years. Been slowly growing the business up to 10, 12 employees right now. You know, as far as a part-time. And, you know, it's been continuing to grow, and projects gotten bigger. Names getting stronger down here, which is obviously a benefit as well. Got down more contacts into the city as well. So we've really been expanding in Westchester and the New York City market over the last 2 years.
Now, and what name, I'm curious, what name do you operate under?
I operate under Daigle, like as a cleaning system. I obviously have like my own corporate name, but I operate under the franchise name.
Oh, okay.
So like all the marketing and branding is Daigle, Westchester County.
Okay.
So, you know, cover all the Westchester market down here and the New York market all over the tri-state is so we continue to grow and get the name out there. And it's obviously the name is obviously a really strong name up in Albany, but a lot of people started to know it down here as well. You know, some contractors up in Albany, all of offices down in Westchester in the city. So, you know, it's been a really good experience the last 2 years of growing the business, and, you know, I also want to keep growing it down here as well over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
So it sounds like, you know, you're pretty lazy. You're working a full-time job, and then you have a side hustle with 10 employees. You know, so I'm sure you really just sit on the couch all day, every day.
Yeah, most of the time, just sitting on the couch watching TV.
So it's funny because, you know, a lot of people would, and I think a lot of, you know, people who are in the franchising business would kind of turn their head or, you know, give the cold shoulder to somebody that's already, you know, employed full time. And I was like, this is great, right? Because the entire time that, you know, Tom was vetting me and what we do, you I'm vetting that individual. Yes, they're interested in purchasing a franchise, but they have to be the right fit. And, I can teach somebody the business as long as they work hard and as long as they have the right attitude, the positive, right? And Tom checked all those boxes. So it worked out really well. And side hustle. And I was like, this is perfect. He can eventually, at some point have it as a nice side business, either hire management to run it for him or jump into a full time. He's got some options there. But,
well, and that's kind of, to be honest with you, Derek, that's what I heard when I didn't realize that you were still working for the hospitality company. So when I hear anyone say something like, well, hey, I work this full-time job over here and I have a side hustle with 10 employees. What that tells me is that you've got some really good systems in place on that side hustle that allow you to work a full-time job and have employees doing the work over here that doesn't require you to be in the business every day, which is kind of every business owner's dream, right? And I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but to me, that's like the power of what a franchise is supposed to do, right? Like as a franchise provider, Derek's supposed to give you systems and processes and all this collection of stuff that you can just basically, push the button on and then execute without having to try to go through all the pain of developing all that stuff yourself. Would you say that that's close to the mark, that, the system that he's handed you has kind of allowed you to be able to do what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, honestly, I have 10 employees doing most of the cleaning. I don't clean as much anymore. I mean, so once in a while you got to jump in there and clean, but I oversee them, do all the bidding. But those systems in place allowed me to, I could pick Derek's brain also on jobs maybe I should pass up. Maybe they weren't worth it. And instead of trying to take on every job just to grow revenue that maybe was short term is probably maybe needed, but like long term it's not a good fit for the business, is like definitely helped me out growing where I'm not really having to stumble as much. And if I ever have like issues on a bid, like, hey, how do I quote this? Just send a quick text to Derek or an email. And it's been really helpful. As a new business owner, sometimes you get a little overwhelmed with it and understanding what to do and how to put a system in place, how to train people, and everything like that. So that system's all handed. So, it was more just like, if you want to put the work into it and get out there and get the name out and market, the business was there, and the opportunities to scale. Eventually probably go full-time into it. But at this point, it's been really able to scale the business with the systems in place without too much nerve-wracking. Honestly, some days it's a little stressful, like jumping around from one business to the next business, but overall it's been a really good fit. And, with my connections in the hospitality business, it's been also helpful too of getting more contracts and getting the name out there. So, it's been a really good fit.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure the hospitality connections definitely help a little bit on the sales aspect too. Yeah, that's really interesting, man. I couldn't imagine. I say that, but I guess I'm doing it. Like, like having a full-time job and then a couple of side. I was like, oh wait, yeah, actually I do have that. So I can definitely empathize with you. Derek, I'm now my curiosity's peaked. Is this a good time to talk about the DOS?
So we're linking in. We're actually developing some software right now that we can deploy for not just the industry but for other service businesses as well. So it's something that we haven't. We're in the process of building it now. We have some, and it's specific to the way that we do things in our business model. We really didn't find a good software fit that took care and checked all the boxes that we needed it to. So we're developing that. It should be out end of Q2 this year. And obviously Tom will be the first one to test it out, try it out, but it's all encompassing. Will help run the business from start to finish. So just leveraging technology to make, and that basically not going away. That's the way the world works and what it runs on. So if we can be competitive and utilize technology to drive that, and put us in a better competitive position with our competition, what we want to do. So we're working on that. We'll get there. It's we're in the process of development. It's been a whole learning experience.
Gotcha. And Tom, when you earlier when you were talking about how you came to start talking to Derek to begin with before you bought the franchise, now you were evaluating other franchises. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I was evaluating other cleaning franchises. I did some in-depth research and with a couple of companies like one I reached out to.
Yeah.
Obviously there's like, which are a little bit different. They kind of feed you accounts. You don't really have a business. You're basically just like an employee, and they give you accounts, and that's pretty much how they run their business. So did a lot of research. And then honestly, I don't know how I stumbled upon Derek, but I was Googling cleaning
It was
franchises
Google.
and
Google.
it popped up.
Thank you, Google.
And it was it helped me, like, I like being that was local to New York, and it wasn't, a lot of them have their offices down Tennessee or Florida. And at the time, I just couldn't, when it was COVID, also really couldn't fly or drive down to another state. So when I met Derek, I just knew it was gonna be a good fit for building the business, and like, building the recognition up here too, down here as well. The name was really strong in Albany, so I figured it really helped building it down here, so it wouldn't be just like a random company that I just started. And also I don't think I had the experience really to run my own cleaning business. Like, knew a little bit about it, but not whole depth into it. So I was able to take off the gate pretty quickly. We landed some pretty big contracts, like post-construction cleaning, as soon as we started. So it was kind of off to the races as soon as we signed on the dotted line.
And so, and that was something as well that I was curious about. So if I heard you correctly, it sounds like you had already made two decisions, and one of those decisions that you wanted to own a cleaning company, and the other decision was that you wanted to buy a franchise as opposed to starting one yourself. So I think anybody listening would be interested to know, one, why you landed on cleaning, and maybe it was just because you said you were having trouble finding cleaning companies. But the other thing is, I'd be, and I think anybody listening would be really curious to know why you were looking at a franchise versus starting up your own thing.
Okay, I mean, on the cleaning side, I mean, honestly, everyone always needs cleaners, commercial. Also, it's not the most glamorous job, but the margins are very good in it. It's also very scalable. Previous to my hospitality business, or being in the business of, like, I opened my first restaurant when I was like 27, but 5 years after college, I spent in investment banking in the finance side. So we actually had a couple of clients who owned very successful cleaning companies, and they talked me through the numbers. They're more of like deal makers. So they were just buying up local cleaning companies and scaling them, and then trying to like sell them out to a larger competition. But, as a numbers guy, it made sense on how they're able to do it, that the recurring contracts on cleaning companies was a valuable business. That's why I looked on the commercial side more, just because it's those, those contracts, and, you could sell your business eventually for, a good amount of multiples. And then, so was always fascinated on the cleaning side of the business. And then being in the hospitality side, cleaned enough of the restaurants myself where, it was hard to find reliable cleaning companies. Even if you call them, they would never call you back. And I was like, oh, there must be a good opportunity. Either they're really busy or it's not very run efficient. So obviously there's enough business to go around. And then on the franchise side, I don't know, I like the franchise model, to be honest with you. My first restaurant was a franchise. It was technically not a franchise, as a licensing deal, but the help that the owners provided was like keeps them beyond the franchise fee what it was worth. And it just allows you to get started quicker. I think take some of the learning curve off. And, with Derek and Daigle, the terms weren't super restrictive on like the franchise. So I thought I got the best of both worlds. Like, I was free to run my own business, but I had all the systems in place to scale it up. And it was just following the systems in place to keep going. And it was all just about marketing and sales, but everything else was kind of done for you. Like, how do I hire an employee, how to do this, like how to do like spot checks and all that stuff that's there that you kind of have to learn yourself, which you can, but it might take 3 or 4 years until you're really there. Where for me, out of the gate, I was just trying to get business as quickly as possible to grow it. And all the systems are in place for me. So it wasn't a lot of thinking. It was just more of doing.
Derek, how many years do you think it took you to point to learn all that stuff that you now provide in the franchising?
I was just thinking of that, and it's fun to look back at, some of the early struggles that we went through. And, it's not so much at the time, because I think that it took us, we moved pretty quickly, but part of how we, got to the point where we had the system in place was we had to make a mistake somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's, you make a mistake, you put a process in place, patch it. We talk about that all the time, plugging the holes in the bucket and, getting your processes set. So, it did take a while. I would say a good 4 or 5 years before we even landed a major account.
Yeah.
And really learned the business and how it worked. And we spent spent a lot of money in costly mistakes, and
Yeah.
if you can avoid that, just like Tom said, it's
Well, that's what I
way to-
hear, like,
way to go.
like with Tom saying, like, things like spot checks and how to hire employees. And like, I just know from my own experience that, and I'm not even sure I've got it figured out yet. Maybe I should get one of your manuals from a hiring standpoint. But like, I mean, it's, I've been doing what I'm doing for 10 years, man. And I think of all the mistakes and all the hard lessons learned over the course of 10 years. Whereas if I had bought let's say a marketing franchise and those things have already been worked out and they're giving you the manual, I just, how much it increases your time until you're, quote unquote successful, just sounds invaluable,
Yeah,
Would you
there's
say?
definitely a lot of value there, but it comes from years of mistakes and figuring out how to make things better and fix them. And,
Yeah.
right in the process.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Tom, is there a what's the word I'm looking for? Is there like a ceiling that you hit when you decide to no longer be in the hospitality industry and focus just on the cleaning side? Or are you a margarita guy? Are you gonna go sit on a beach, or like what's your plan as far as the cleaning company being successful?
I mean, I don't really have a ceiling in place. Honestly, I want to continue to grow it into hopefully 7 figures, 8 figures, maybe 9 figures one day. Fantastic. Maybe take on more territories, and keep growing the business with Derek. But yeah, I don't really have a ceiling. Like it starts a part-time, but it's not right now. It's not really. It's not really a side hustle anymore. It's a full-time company going. We're growing and continuing to grow every day. So yeah, I don't really have any plans on slowing that down. I like the hospitality business, so it hasn't really been an issue yet. Maybe down the line, I'll have to make a decision, but at the time being, just going to continue to grow. And then, if my time is no longer, I can't do both, and I'll make a decision. But for the cleaning, I think it's just a really good opportunity. I think it's a good opportunity for a lot of people. You don't really have that much startup cost to it. Besides the franchisee, cleaning materials and a couple machines, you can get a business going pretty quickly. Where my first restaurant we opened up, it took over $250,000. So, you can start a cleaning business a relatively cheap for like 10, 20 grand, probably even less if you need it. And then, as the business grows, you buy more and more machines, you can scale with it, but you don't need to sink 100 grand into fixed costs. I started out of my garage storing all my materials. So, it's a fantastic and scalable business. And then, as long as you do a good job, customers come back. And that's what I've learned is that, people ask me now for like other stuff, like handyman work that we don't really do, but we could sub out or refer someone to it because you do a good job cleaning somewhere. Everyone's always in need of a handyman or landscaping. And I get a lot of requests for that. So obviously there's a need out there for, reputable companies that do a good job.
Sounds like a couple more opportunities for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tom said something that was right on point. Our industry and the way that model, and probably what distinguishes us from a lot of the competitors as well, is we offer financing to our franchisees, for the right fit. That's why we're very selective with who we'll put in that seat. And I look at Tom and Brittany up here in Albany as more partners than franchisees. Their success, it's very important to me. And we finance the initial fee and some of the equipment. We do whatever we have to do to help them out along the way. So the idea is they get started and they land a couple of accounts in the first month, and they're already operating in the green. They're not sitting in the red for a year or two and sitting out with a huge amount of debt that's sitting on the balance sheet. So we have different tools to be able to help where that's concerned as well.
And would you guys say, if someone was, let's say maybe they already have a cleaning company, or maybe they're thinking about starting one. It sounds like, I think we would all be in agreement, hands down, that going to a franchise is going to be a better route to start with, because it's going to increase the time, or it's going to decrease. It's the time it's going to take for them to be successful, right? But would you say that they need to have more of an operational background or more of a sales background?
That's a good question. Tom, I'll let you take that one.
I think sales is probably probably a better background. I think operations like the franchise manual handles a lot of that stuff, and that's the support you're getting from Derek and the franchise. But I think sales, like, I mean, if you can sell, you can figure out everything else. I mean, that's it. Like, at the end of the day, it's for business, it's revenue in. That's like the most important thing. And then obviously controlling your costs and the operations of it. But if you don't have business, it really doesn't matter how good at operations you are if you're not bringing in clients or accounts. So I think sales is the most important part, and just getting out there and doing it, going to networking events, walking the businesses and trying to, get that. So I think sales is definitely the most important part of any business, especially in the beginning, because you're doing it yourself. You don't have sales guys working for you. So in the beginning, you got to go out there and like really pound the pavement and get people to trust you, and then give them the opportunity to bid, and then hopefully win it, and then continue with it. But definitely sales.
Definitely
I
sales.
mean, to Tom's credit, he's done a great job of adapting. As one of you always in business, like you get, I feel like you get all excited and you're starting to run in a direction, and then reality smacks you in the face. Well, down in the Westchester area where Tom is, there's a ton of competition. There's a lot. So starting to really gain traction, build the brand now, and having people call for repeat business, repeat work. I mean, really a credit to Tom, on the operations end, to deliver, what he says he's going to, and then we've worked together on the sales end, to keep traffic coming through the door.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that in our business, you never stop selling, you never stop hiring. It's
Never stop selling, never stop hiring.
You gotta feed the funnel. The
Yep.
way the business is. But, he's done a great job with that.
That's awesome.
Tom, what
I never
are
thought
your
it would
goals?
be that
We haven't talked yet. I guess one question I had for Tom is, as we go into 2023, the first week of the year, what are some of your goals for this year? I know we're going to talk about it later this week, but what are you looking to accomplish?
I mean, I like to double the revenue, I think, which is pretty feasible from this year to the next year. Obviously, the kitchen hood cleaning part of the business, went through the certifications and licenses of that. So I really want to build out that business. Obviously, being in hospitality, it's a little bit easy leg into the door. But yeah, those are two focus, like the double revenue, which I think is a feasible goal. And then, keep putting more systems in place for myself to get more efficient, and honestly start to go after bigger and bigger clients that can really just, one or two clients can really move the needle pretty quickly. And then, yeah, the hood cleaning part of the business, I think, is a big opportunity to really grow as well. Get into some of the restaurant chains that are from Westchester, Albany. So, be able to offer that service all the way up New York State. I think that's a good opportunity.
That's awesome. Yeah. And Mike, I don't even think I told you that, but we're going through I'm going through the certification process right now for that as well.
For what's that?
Hood vent clean.
Oh yeah.
So it's a different market, something new that we're looking to explore. But there's a pretty significant course load and certification that you have to go through, license and insurance when we get to that point. That you have to have the right insurance for it. But yeah, essentially cleaning restaurant hoods
and cleaning the ducts and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
those aren't dirty.
Yeah, I'm just about complete with all the videos. I gotta sign up. They actually do a training down in Florida.
Oh, no kidding.
So we're trying to coordinate it. So
I worked in some really gross kitchens when I was younger, and man, those Ansel systems, hood systems were just so gross.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine having to clean them.
Well,
that's why I'm in marketing and I own a farm. Although I shouldn't say that. I mean, like what I do on the weekends is I muck stalls. I can't imagine that cleaning poop out of pig stalls and sheep stalls and everything else is more fun. Is less gross than cleaning hoods, I guess.
I meant to tell you in part of the training video, Tom, I don't know if you caught this. I'm sure you did, but the grease and they actually will save that, take it, and I don't think they do it in the U.S., but they'll actually save it and they can turn it around and feed it to pigs, cows.
Really?
Farm animals. Yeah, it's burger fat.
I hadn't heard of that either. I hadn't heard of them turning it into like biodiesel and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that as well. Yeah.
but I hadn't heard of them feeding it to animals. It's interesting. I'm sure my pigs would love that grease.
Yeah. Sure.
That's funny. Damn pigs. Don't be a pig farmer, guys. That's for sure.
Yeah. So Tom, what is I guess what are what are some of your daily routines? Do you have a specific routine? We always typically ask people when they come on if they have any special routines that they go through every day.
Yeah, I mean, I get up pretty early, 5 o'clock usually most mornings. Like to get to the gym in the morning first. It's like always just to get a good routine going. And then maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, kind of get my day started, answering emails, writing down my goals for the day. I try to break it down by the weekend, by the day. So Sunday night, I'll spend some time just reviewing what I need to get done for the business and just for my day job as well. Make sure I have everything kind of straightened out, look at my calendar, try to get as organized as possible. And then, every day I just look at what needs to get done and try to be as efficient with my time as possible. Because that's honestly the biggest thing as you scale is that, your time becomes more and more valuable. So really try to limit any distractions or, needless driving around or running one day or there. So I always try to plan out my day as quickly as best as possible. Obviously things change, but that's really kind of my day. And then at night, kind of relax and see if I completed my goals and check them off. And then, if I didn't get to something, put onto the next day's calendar and try to get that done well the next day. So try to be as organized as possible, which definitely helps.
What about, if you were gonna, I know we're kind of running out of time, but if you were going to, give one piece of advice to someone looking at a blue collar industry, whether it was, janitorial, cleaning, whatever, what would it be?
I think my advice would be, it's a good business no matter what it is, janitorial, carpentry, masonry. It's just kind of doing the job and doing a really good job, and the business will grow. There's plenty of opportunity out there. Even though there's competition, there's plenty of work to go around for everyone. So I don't think anyone should jump in, worry about finding work. I think if you do a good job, your reputation will grow and the business will grow. And also, you can start this part-time. You don't have to go full-time in. You don't have to quit your job. Anything like you could be a handyman on the weekends and get your feet wet and then if you like it, there's plenty of opportunity. You don't have to go to college and get a degree in finance or become a lawyer, but there's plenty of opportunity and money to be made in the blue collar industry. You just kind of have to get to it and then try it out. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. There's no problem in failure. I've owned a couple of businesses. Some have been successful. Some have just gone to the wayside. So, you're never going to know without trying. So I think just give it a shot and see if you like it and see if you're good at the business. It might not be the most glamorous business, but everyone needs that stuff done and people are willing to pay top dollar if it's a good job. So I would just say, just jump into it and kind of take it from there and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Common theme amongst all of our guests, not get started, and work a side business. When to make that transition. We've seen it quite a bit.
Yeah. I think that's all we got for today. Derek, you got any questions for Tom?
No, not right now. Tom, if people want to get a hold of you and need to reach you down in the Westchester area, how can they do that?
Phone number is 845-661-5745, or they can reach me at tom@daigleclean.com. And then our website is daigleclean.com/Westchester.
That's DAIGLE.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And email, phone, that's always on me. So I'm always answering my cell phone or my phone or my email. So it's never stopping.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you joining us today. Folks, if you're looking to learn more information about who we are and what we do over here at Blue Collar Startup, you can check us out at bluecollarstartup.io. We're on Instagram at bluecollarstartup.io, I believe is also our Instagram handle. I have all these big plans of content I'm going to post on Instagram, and someday I'm actually going to do it.
Yeah, listen, we took a hiatus for the holiday season.
That's true. We're back at it. We're back at it. Season 3, we're going to call it. We do have some great guests. Just like Tom, we've got some other great guests as well coming on the next couple of weeks. And looking forward to interviewing everyone. And keep on going. So,
Awesome.
Tom, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Derek,
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate
you.
you
Thank you for
joining.
having me.
you got
The
it,
rest
guys.
of the day. Mike, thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.